to the world of Lady Till's Curios.
Welcome to Lady Teal's Curios. Today I interview Mike Familant, Bigfoot researcher, outdoor traveler, and creator of the show In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. This is an early release video format of next week's podcast episode, so please be sure to tune in to the podcast on your favorite listening channel. And give Mike a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube using the handle at Shadow of Red Eye, and visit his website for his 2024 tour dates on shadowofredeye.com. Remember, stay curious.
So, my name is Mike Familant. I am a Bigfoot researcher out of northwestern New Jersey, and my occupation is to go around to different areas of the country and not only talk to people at libraries and bring my presentation to libraries, but also look for Bigfoot at the same time at the state parks and national forests wherever I go and film my show in the shadow of Big Red Eye.
Awesome. I know your journey into Bigfooting began with a specific experience in North Florida, I believe. And could you tell us a little bit more about that encounter?
Yeah. So it was kind of crazy. I went on a Bigfoot expedition, and I was like, "There's no way we're gonna have any activity here. This is crazy." I was with me and my buddy Jimmy, and we didn't have any activity. It was nothing, just like we thought. And it was the last night, and we heard like a tree knock. That's what Bigfoot said to do, right? So we hear bam from one side of camp, and I was like, "Oh man, all right, nothing, nothing." Then we hear bam, another tree knock from the other side of camp, and I was like, "Oh man, these people have got to be putting on a show for us." Like we didn't get any. I paid so much money to come on this Bigfoot activity thing expedition. We didn't get any Bigfoot activity. It's a last night. They got to be doing something, right? So then, bam, about 15 minutes later, crashed down right in front of us a fist-sized rock. What can throw rocks?
Not very many things.
We can think a person, right? Maybe a primate, because they have thumbs, right? And person, primate. Let's see what else. Maybe a raccoon. They have opposable thumbs, right? They could throw something, maybe. Anyways, I was like, "This is it. Screw this. I am out of here." My buddy's like, "If you want to sleep in the car, you're more than welcome to sleep in the car." And by the time he said that, I had my tent and my sleeping bag, and I was ready to just go sleep in the car because I'm out of here at this point, right? So he comes into the car, and he's like, "Mike, this is what Bigfoot do. They knock on trees, they throw rocks. Could be some sort of Bigfoot activity." I said, "Okay, you're right, you're right." So I went back by the campfire. Over the next course of the next 15 minutes, four more of these fist-sized rocks came crashing down, landed 10 to 15 feet from us.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, no, that's not cool, right? Screw
Yeah.
that. So my buddy, he's he's not the brightest he's not the brightest bulb in the box, right? So he took one of these rocks, and he picked it up, and he was holding it. He said, "Mike, I got a good idea. I'm gonna throw a rock back at it."
That's real smart.
I said, "Jimmy, man, come on, man." So he takes a rock, he chucks it back in that direction, And I knew it wasn't a person because a laptop sized 15-pound boulder came crashing down, landed 5 feet from us.
Oh my gosh. And there was no like precipice that the rocks could have been falling off of
No,
or anything like
negative,
that.
negative. We the next day we tried to do like like we tried to be all scientific and figure out how long how the distance was. The closest this thing could have been was 75 yards.
That's pretty close.
Unless Nolan Ryan is out there throwing rocks in the middle of the night, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You know?
So you were out there specifically looking for Bigfoot, or were you like camping out there just
Yes,
having
ma'am.
fun?
What happened was I paid a lot of money to go on this Bigfoot expedition. And that's why I said, like, when nothing happened, we didn't find any Bigfoot activity. I was like, oh man, this is kind of a bust. And then that last thing happened the final night. It's kind of crazy.
That's awesome. So take me back a little bit further. So you said you paid a lot for this expedition, and now you're traveling around the country doing all these research trips for your show. What do you think is the key, like, I guess, instigator, or what inspired you to fall in love with Bigfoot and make it your everyday passion?
Well, here's what it is. It's it's not about Bigfoot. If you're out to look for Bigfoot, you are in the wrong job. You're never gonna find Bigfoot. It's not gonna be something that happens overnight. You need to be in it for different reasons, and the reason why I do what I do is because I want to see every part of this country that is amazing. And I've I want to see here my goal, and this is I've never told anybody this before. It's kind of been in my heart, right? I'm gonna find where I can settle down with me and my significant other, and find a really good place to hang out and create a life together. And I'll tell you, I've been all over the East Coast, and it's been so much of an amazing journey. What was your question? I'm sorry. I got off topic.
But that was so genuine and authentic. So I love that. It was like what truly inspired you, and you kind of touched on that. What inspired you to start looking for Bigfoot, and it's kind of like you said, not necessarily about looking for Bigfoot, but more about the experience and traveling and getting to see all the places. What I'm kind of getting from that.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what it is. You can look for Bigfoot every night of your life and never find him. Um, Thankfully, I've had some experiences in my life that I've attributed to that could be Bigfoot related, and I'm gonna keep rolling with that, and until I can find one. I guess that's what it comes down to. I don't know. I would be. I think I would be terrified if I found a Bigfoot. Right?
Yeah, I don't know what I would do if I came across one. I have, I think we've talked about this before, but I've done quite a bit of uh, paranormal investigating as far as like ghosts go. So, have you had a chance to do any of that type of research and compare it to the way that you research your Bigfoot
Yes,
trip?
yes, absolutely. You nailed it on the head. Here, I did one ghost investigation, a paranormal investigation in Vernon, New Jersey. It was a very, very cool investigation. And I went down into the basement, and something moved, And I said, nope, not happening ever again. I'm not doing this. Something negative. Nope, nope. I would rather, and this is the dead truth honest, I would rather come across a Bigfoot than something I can't see. Absolutely. No question about it.
Well, that leads me to probably one of the most popular questions. If Bigfoot exists, why can't anybody get a clear photo of him? Why are all of the photos blurry?
Okay, so we will do a little test here. Ready?
Hmm.
You have 5 seconds. I'm going to tell you have 5 seconds right now. Right? So that's obviously more time than you're going to have than you have for other things. Anyways, get a clear picture of me. Five, four,
Oh no.
3, 2, 1. You did, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that was a good one. Imagine if you were out in the woods and I was moving.
I can't even open my camera now.
See, let me see it.
I didn't even get a picture that time. The first one
Oh, you
was,
didn't get one?
yeah. I,
See?
I couldn't open my camera.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody says that. Why can't you take pictures of Bigfoot when you see him? Look at that. I just gave you 10 seconds so you couldn't take a picture.
I got a good one the first time, but the second time, not so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
Moving
just,
around.
and that's something to think about, though, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I have worked in photography before, and it can be hard to get a good photo with 30 seconds. And so,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
um, so you are an EMT, a graphic designer, I think, as well, and you do this full-time research for Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Have you researched Yeti at all?
No, no. Unfortunately, I've never been over to the across the seas. That would unfortunately I would need a lot more libraries to be able to do that.
Well, maybe in the future that can be something that you expand your travels to.
Yeah.
With all of your experience as an EMT and a Bigfoot researcher, like how do you balance those types of roles, and do they intersect at all? I hope you don't have to use your
No.
EMT skills out in the wild, but I'm curious if they have intersected.
What I will say is, I have been an EMT for like 12 years, and I stopped that a couple of years ago, and I would not recommend anybody in the world to do EMT work. And
Oh,
that's no, and that's I know you're probably not gonna be okay with this on your podcast, but
no, it's fine.
um, it's a crazy profession and something that you need to be a very specified mindset to be able to do that work. Um, I was not at that age. But what was cool about it was at 22, I was engaged and I was, working at this beach resort and I was watching Finding Bigfoot on TV. And that's what got me into this. And then, when me and my fiance broke up, I was like, these tickets are non-refundable. So crap, I got to go on this Bigfoot research thing no matter what. I didn't even like it. I was like, screw this shit. I was gonna bring a bunch of beer, and we were gonna have a party, like a party evening, like a party 3 nights in the woods, and then we got rocks thrown at us and a boulder thrown at us.
That's so crazy. And now, so that was what, 2011? So
Yeah, yeah,
that's crazy.
2011.
That's what, 12 years later. here we are. So you have a show now called In the Shadow of Big Red Eye, and that's been going on for how many years?
8.
Okay.
8 years.
So
Yeah, we're filming our 8th season
that's
now.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. I know Bigfoot research, so paranormal research in general, whether it's Bigfoot, ghosts, aliens, whatever, a lot of times is met with skepticism. So, how do you address that, especially when you're going to libraries and places of academia? How do you address that in your work? And like, what's been the most challenging aspect of talking to a wider audience about this?
So, um, I did 100 presentations in 2023, a bunch, right? And we're obviously going to get people that have some differentiating opinions when it comes to my viewpoints and stuff like that. So we were in Florida, and we were in Carroll County, Florida. I forget. But anyways, we had a very good presentation, and I always at the end of my presentation, I always say, "Hey, does anybody have any questions?" Because I want to answer everybody's questions no matter what, and I'm going to answer anybody's questions. Anyways, the first question, I click on the guy, and he says, he looks at the audience, he turns, he says, "Do you guys really believe this shit?" He's like, "This is crazy stuff." And I'm like, "First of all, sir, you got in here late. And second of all, sit down. Like, ridiculous. This is ridiculous." And he's like, "Do you actually believe in the evidence that you're supporting?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Like, do you think this is like something I'm not believing in? Like, do you think this is some like little like circus? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. That was funny though.
So is that probably like the biggest like somebody going up against you at one of your talks,
Oh
then
yeah, yeah. That was funny.
people are, it sounds like people are generally like curious or pretty receptive then.
I could say I can count the number of times on one hand that I think people are respective to the Bigfoot phenomenon. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um
And I think this year I have presented to 3,000 people, if I'm not mistaken.
that's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though, right?
Yeah, that's like a quite a feat. And so before that, had you had any public speaking experience, or was that
Oh, I hate
something?
public speaking.
So you decided, let me go on this trip and speak in front of 3,000
Hey, I
people.
gotta make money somehow.
Oh, well, that brings me to another question. So, how do you support yourself while
I
doing
don't
this?
make money.
Oh, man.
That's
So,
that's that's the complete and honest answer. No, how I support myself is what I do is I go around to libraries, and the libraries pay me to talk about Bigfoot, and I talk about Bigfoot during the day, and then at night I camp at state parks or national forests or wherever you may be, and we make it work.
that's great. Um, how do you choose the locations that you're going to be traveling to? Is it more of like you do a little bit of research to see if there's actually been Bigfoot activity there, or is it I just want to visit this place and if there happens to be Bigfoot evidence, then cool?
Sure. Do you want the honest answer?
Yeah,
The honest answer is I go where I make enough money to go to.
that's a perfectly valid answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The answer that you would probably want is I go to the most places that Bigfoot sightings have ever been.
Tell us a little bit more about the show.
The show has been extremely interesting to me. It's been uh, I gotta say it's one of the most interesting things that I've ever done in my entire life. Um, I've interviewed people that have maybe have never saw Bigfoot, but they told me that they saw Bigfoot. To people that I am literally in the woods with them looking at Bigfoot. It's so crazy. Um, the most the biggest thing that I want people to get away from the show is not about like looking for Bigfoot. That's not what it's about. You know, it's about getting into nature and about seeing something that you wouldn't see sitting on your couch every day. That's my big thing. Like we just went into the woods the other day. We went off trail and down into the depths of High Point State Park, and nobody ever does that, you know. And it's just really cool, and I would just hope that your listeners could do that as well.
That's yeah, I when I talk about the places that I travel to, I always try to convey like the emotional aspects that I'm feeling while I'm seeing the picturesque landscape and everything, because that's really when people go to locations, they usually feel some sort of emotion, or it like draws them out there. And when you're in the woods, you feel something different than when you're just like hanging out at home.
Oh my
So,
god.
yeah. So, with the show, what has been the most emotionally impactful moment for you and why?
You're going deep on here, huh?
I told you.
Wow. All right. So, season 2 was probably the most impactful thing that ever happened to me. I got a message through YouTube. I think it was YouTube, and he said, because of your ways that you do what you do when you go through the woods and you look for Bigfoot, this is something that I have always done before in my entire life. But because of this new chronic illness, he had diabetes, he is no longer able to get into the woods and do the stuff that he used to do. And he said, because of your videos, I live vicariously through your life. And let me tell you, that was it, man. That was that's why we're doing season 8.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. You do it for the people, for the storytelling, and for people to experience all of that. A lot of people can't, so it's nice that you can share those experiences.
and I'll tell you, it's not about finding a Bigfoot every time that we go out. That's not about what it is. It's about like we had like an amazing hike today. Like seeing something, we saw this Chicanawunk ridgeline, the gunks. Have you ever seen the gunks?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, it's amazing. When we the best evidence that I've ever had was it was very interesting. Um, we were camping at Stoke State Forest, and we went up to High Point State Park to do a Bigfoot howl. We were doing a Bigfoot investigation, and I did a barred owl call, which is like I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Do it.
Is that I don't know if that came over,
Yeah.
but I did a barred alcohol, and I got back out. Whoa, 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 and we can I don't know if you could like play it in now. We could like plug it in. But anyways, that was really really cool. And um, so like I'm like the kind of guy that like I'll send my evidence away to like a linguist from the military, right? So he came back. I sent him this clip of what you just heard, and he came back with this 5-page report that said this is outside of human vocalization, and this is no known animal from northwestern New Jersey.
What?
As a scientist from the military that said that.
Yeah, we if you can send me that clip later, that would be awesome. Or
Oh
I can,
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
and I can plug it in there. That's crazy. What would be the so that's like a pretty compelling piece of evidence.
My most scared time that I was out in the woods was we were camping at Stoke State Forest in the Kittatinny Ridge in northwestern New Jersey, and we were camping there. It was a night before a Bigfoot investigation that we were supposed to have. That so it was a Wednesday night, and it was cold. It was a February night, and I was 2 sleeping bags full, like mummy, like you couldn't. I couldn't move. It was so cold. But then I was also in a sleeping tent that was one person. You couldn't move in it, right? So, anyways, most scared thing that I've ever been in the woods. This thing came down, right? It was a nice moonlit night. Came down, right? What was it? Spider.
Oh God.
Nope, never again. Nope, 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 nope. I screamed like a little girl. I screamed bad and never again. Yep.
Oh man. That's hilarious. I'm sorry for you being scared.
No, it's hey, it is what it is.
So we're headed into 2024. I know you have your 2024 schedule up and running. Do you want to share some of the locations that you're excited about traveling to?
Oh man, Indiana is really cool. Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Missouri, Maine, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. Come on. This is going to be an amazing year.
I am very excited for you. It seems like you have a lot going on. So, what advice would you give to someone who wants to join in on the exploration into cryptozoology or Bigfoot research?
My advice would be start small. Uh, one, buy my DVD series called Squatchables. It's 11 part series in the shadow of Big Red Eye as how to get into looking for Bigfoot. I'm just kidding. But if you really want to get into Bigfoot, you could totally buy that. If you really want to get into Bigfoot, here's what you do, guys. You don't have to go on to a big Bigfoot research expedition like I did. You don't have to spend a lot of money like I did. All you got to do is reach out to a couple different people and go out in your woods and look for yourselves. That's all you got to do. Do a couple tree knocks, do a couple calls, and see what you can get. Even if you're not in the biggest Bigfoot area anyway, it doesn't matter. Even if you're in the deepest part of the city, go ahead and do a tree knock, and let's see what you get back. Right? That's all that matters.
I love that. What are you most excited for next year? Like, what are you looking forward to? Do you have any other things coming out? Like, I know you're doing season 8, but are there any other? Do you have any other things you want to promote or tell us about?
No, and what's amazing is I'm able to go on the Tour 24, Searching America Tour 24, which is really cool. But I think one of the biggest things that I would love everybody to know is I am out here trying to get people into the woods and out into nature more often. It's this whole tour of what I do, every library that I go to, every person that I meet, I try to get out into the woods more. And I think that's extremely unique and something that doesn't happen too often. So I hope that I can bring that message to a bunch of different people.